I'm sure you've seen Switzerland before. Maybe in photos, maybe in films, snowy peaks, blue lakes, wooden houses. But what if I told you that's only the surface? Today, we're not showing you the Switzerland from postcards. We're taking you somewhere else, to the hidden stories, the unseen places, and the kind of silence that speaks louder than words. This is not a guidebook tour, it's a cinematic journey. You'll walk the cliffs of Grindelwald First, where one wrong step meets 1,000 feet of air. Watch trains cross frozen passes on the Glacier Express, like veins moving through the spine of the Alps. You'll float over Lake Brienz, where the water is so still it feels like a mirror to another world. We'll take you to Appenzell, where democracy is still voted by hand, and goats might outnumber people. And we'll stand in Lauterbrunnen, the valley that once inspired Tolkien to imagine Rivendell. You'll see Soglio, a fairy tale village no one talks about, but those who visit never forget. And at the foot of a mountain that looks like a throne of stone, you'll arrive in Zermatt, where the Matterhorn has ruled the horizon for ages. These aren't just places. They're stories carved into stone. Places most travelers never reach, and stories most videos never tell. So don't scroll, don't skip. What you're about to see might just change how you see Switzerland forever. Stay with us, because what's coming next is everything they never told you. They say Lauterbrunnen isn't just a place, it's a doorway to another world. A glacial valley, carved over millions of years. So deep, so narrow. The sun touches it gently. Towering cliffs rise thousands of feet on both sides. Waterfalls fall like silver threads from the rock, 72 of them, some hidden, some roaring. And always the sound of water, constant, like a whisper from the mountains. Few places in Europe feel this untouched. There's no rush here, no highways, just steep trails, wildflowers, and stone chalets. But Lauterbrunnen is more than beautiful. It carries stories, the kind that echo through time. In 1911, a young philologist named John Ronald Reuel Tolkien hiked through here. He was only 19. Traveling from Interlaken, he passed through the valley, the cliffs, the mist, the waterfalls. He called it the most magical place he'd ever seen. And years later, as war and hardship faded into memory, he began to write The Lord of the Rings. A story of lost kingdoms, dark journeys, and a secret sanctuary hidden between the mountains. That place was Rivendell. Some say he invented it, but others believe he simply described what he had already seen. Lauterbrunnen, a real-life elven valley. The resemblance is uncanny. Tall cliffs, evergreen forests, white waters tumbling down. A place cut off from the world, protected, pure. Even the name Lauterbrunnen means loud springs, and you hear them, always. Behind every turn, water speaks. But the mystery doesn't end there. Local legends speak of hidden caves behind the Stahlbach Falls, and spirits of the mountain that watch silently from above. On misty mornings, the valley vanishes, like a world out of reach. You begin to question, is this a village in Switzerland? Or a place meant only to be found once and never again? Tolkien may have walked these paths as a tourist, but he left as something else, a storyteller forever shaped by this valley. So, when you read about elves in exile singing beneath waterfalls, remember, sometimes fantasy isn't imagined. Sometimes it's remembered. There's a train in Switzerland that moves slower than any express rail in the world. But no one rides it to go fast. They ride it to disappear. This is the Glacier Express. It winds through the heart of the Swiss Alps, over 291 bridges, through 91 tunnels, and across mountain passes so high they vanish into clouds. This isn't a commute, it's a crossing. The train doesn't just cut through snow, it enters it. For hours, there is only white. Peaks blur into sky, valleys vanish in mist. The silence is unnatural. The stillness, unsettling. The only sound, the rhythm of steel on ice. But then, just when the world feels completely empty, a village appears. Small, wooden, frozen in time. The train slows. No one gets on. No one gets off. But in a nearby window, a light is on. A chimney smokes. A child watches the train pass. It lasts only seconds. But in that moment, you realize something. People live here, in places so hidden, so quiet. They're almost forgotten. The train doesn't just carry passengers, it passes through lives. And those lives keep going, even after the train is gone. As you climb higher, the air thins. At Oberelp Pass, the train crosses a frozen lake. No trees, no trails, just snow. It doesn't feel like Switzerland anymore. It feels like another planet. The world here has no color, just white. And the sound of wind. Some say this ride takes you back in time, but that's not quite right. It takes you out of time, away from cities, away from noise, and into a place where slowness is sacred and silence says more than words ever could. There's a lake in central Switzerland, so still, it feels frozen in time, caught between cliffs, colored by glacier dust. This is Lake Brienz. the silent giant beneath the mountains. Most travelers pass through Interlaken in a rush, but Brienz doesn't shout. It whispers. The water is a strange turquoise, cloudy yet clear, as if light behaves differently here. Locals say the lake absorbs sound, that it listens more than it speaks. Fishermen claim on windless days, you can hear voices like echoes trapped beneath the surface. Brienz has always carried a quiet tension, a lake that rarely moves but never truly rests. Along its southern edge lies a village, small, wooden, surrounded by silence. This is Iseltwald, known by some as the fairy tale village. Only one road leads in. No traffic, no crowds, just wooden chalets leaning over the water, and the sound of swans cutting through the glass. It looks imagined, a painting you once saw in a dream. For years, Iseltwald remained hidden, until a scene from a Korean drama showed its wooden dock to the world. Since then, people have come here, looking for that moment, that peace, that perfect silence. But some say the silence here isn't peaceful. It's protective. As if the village knows how fragile it is. How one sound, too loud, could break the illusion. In the early mornings, mist drifts across the lake. The village disappears. And just for a moment, you wonder if it was ever really there. Lake Brienz and Iseltwald don't ask for attention, they wait. And for those who find them, they offer something rare. The feeling of stillness, the memory of silence, and the kind of beauty that doesn't need to be loud to be unforgettable. In the shadow of the Eiger, there's a place where fear and beauty live side by side. It's called Grindlewald First. Not a mountain, a feeling. You reach it by cable car, rising slowly above forests and farms into the alpine emptiness. And at the top, there's a path. Bolted into the rock. The first cliff walk. 2,167 meters above sea level. A narrow metal trail that wraps around a vertical wall of stone. Below it, nothing. Just air and ice and the long silence of falling. Most people freeze halfway. Not because they're weak, but because their mind finally realizes there's no turning back. But if you keep going, if you walk to the edge, you reach a platform. A place with no railings, just a drop and a view. The Eiger, the Monk, the Jungfrau, all watching you. And if you still have courage left, you can do what others only dream about. Run off the ridge and fly. Paragliders rise like birds, suspended in the wind, floating between glacier and lake. For a moment, there's no fear, only flight, only freedom. This isn't a thrill, it's a reminder that the most unforgettable places always begin where the ground ends. In Switzerland's quiet east, there's a village with a name older than the mountains around it, Appenzell. From the Latin, Appenzeller, the abbot's cell. It began as a monastic outpost, tucked deep into wild hills. Even now, it feels removed, as if time forgot to catch up. Aerial views show neat rooftops and green fields, but what you don't see is how they still vote here. No ballots, no machines, just villagers, raising hands in the open air. Some say the quiet is deeper here, a silence you can't record, only feel. Behind it, Kronberg rises. Not as tall as Santis, but filled with its own myths. Monks once climbed here in solitude, seeking visions in the cold mist. Today, a cable car climbs those same slopes. At the top, zip lines, a climbing park, thrill hidden in stillness. Down below, the river flows past the Appenzell, as it has for nearly 1,000 years. In Appenzell, mystery isn't loud, it's quiet and alive. Some villages are built by time. Others seem to have escaped it. Soglio is one of those places. A stone village in the far southeast of Switzerland, hidden in the Bregaglia Valley, near the border with Italy. You don't pass through Soglio by accident. You come here on purpose. Or not at all. Narrow cobblestone lanes, buildings from the 1600s, a church spire rising above alpine meadows. At first glance, it's just another pretty Swiss village. But then, it gets quiet. Too quiet. The wind stops, the air feels heavier, still, and you begin to wonder, why is no one outside? There are homes, signs of life, flowers on windowsills, but you rarely see the people. Some say they're watching, others say they simply don't want to be seen. In 1899, the painter Giovanni Segantini came to Soglio. He called it the gateway to paradise. But paradise here doesn't look golden. It looks old, weathered, faded by mountain winds. Every stone wall, every wooden door holds centuries of silence. Stories whisper that this village was once a refuge for mystics, for exiles, for those running from time itself. The Church of San Lorenzo still stands at the edge of the cliff. From there, you can see the entire valley stretch below, cloaked in fog, untouched by modern life. In the evenings, the sun sets behind the granite peaks, casting long shadows over the stone houses. That's when the mist rolls in, and that's when Soglio changes. Locals say you can hear voices near the fountain, singing or praying. No one really knows. They call it the last village before the wild. Grindlewald. A valley cradled by giants and whispered about for centuries. Its name comes from Old German, Grindl, barrier, Wald, forest. A place once believed to be blocked by nature itself. But people came, not just to stay, but to feel something bigger than themselves. In the 1800s, poets, climbers, and painters stood right here, trying to capture something words couldn't hold. Today, a train glides along the hillside, past meadows and forests, past quiet hikers on dirt roads. Above it all, the Eiger rises, one of the most feared faces in the climbing world. But here in the valley, there's only calm. Cows in the fields, a luxury hotel by the trees. In Grindlewald, the danger is distant, the beauty is immediate, and the mountains, they just keep watching. It begins quietly. In a narrow alpine valley, surrounded by peaks that feel older than memory. The train glides in, and the village slowly appears. Zermatt, a place with no cars, no traffic, just wooden chalets, quiet paths, and clean air. At first, it looks like any other alpine town. Peaceful, beautiful. But then, you look up, and everything changes. The Matterhorn, towering above the village, a perfect, impossible shape, as if it were carved to be remembered. For centuries, people feared it, called it cursed, a mountain that couldn't be climbed. In 1865, that changed. A British team made it to the top, but 4 men died on the way down. The Matterhorn had been touched, but never tamed. Today, trains still curve through Zermatt. The Grindlewald winds upward into snow-covered silence. From above, you see the whole story. In autumn, the trees glow gold. The rooftops still breathe warmth. But climb higher, and winter begins to whisper. Snow thickens. Skiers carve quiet lines beneath frozen skies. The mountain grows colder, clearer, more distant. And yet, it never moves. Locals live their lives below. Tourists take photos, sip coffee, board trains. And the Matterhorn just watches. The alpine ibex disappears into the cliffs, like it was never there. But if you're still watching, maybe this wasn't just a video. Maybe it was something more. There are more stories waiting. In the mist, the mountains, and beyond. Subscribe and let the next one find you. And tell us, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. We love seeing how far the Tranquil Travel family reaches. When you're ready, trade snowy peaks for sacred forests and ancient paths that only locals know. Watch Unseen Japan, places they never told you about.